Fernando Alonso has been dragged into the F1 qualifying controversy indirectly brought up by Max Verstappen against Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez. Fernando Alonso has been accused of sabotaging an F1 qualifying in 2022 in the same way that has seemingly fueled tension between Max Verstappen and his Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez. George Russell's maiden F1 race win was overshadowed by Verstappen defying team orders in the closing stages of Sunday's Brazilian Grand Prix. After the race, Verstappen revealed his decision not to allow Perez to pass him into P5 was due to something that happened in the past. And many have speculated he was still angered by the Mexican's crash in Monaco GP qualifying, which ultimately sent him on his way to bettering Verstappen on race day. In May, Perez crashed exiting Portier, prompting a red flag, which meant the Dutchman couldn't log his last qualifying lap. It led to Perez starting the race in third and Verstappen fourth before the former triumphed and Verstappen could only finish third behind Carlos Sainz, but Perez's incident wasn't the only controversial qualifying crash this season, with Alex Albon fuming at Alonso after he tarnished the laps of those behind him in F1 on Azerbaijan weekend. The Alpine driver was safely into Q2 in Baku before he slowed down and drove straight into the Turn 15 runoff, which ruined Albon and others' final attempt to make the cut. And speaking to F1 TV, Jolyon Palmer included Alonso's mistake among other examples of when he thought drivers deliberately made errors to benefit themselves. He said, "There's also a question mark here of should drivers lose their lap time for causing red flags, or even yellow flags, in qualifying. We've seen it a few times now. It's always difficult to prove 100% that someone has brought out a red or yellow flag on purpose because you never can know the mindset. People make mistakes. People even mistake really bad and silly mistakes in the car." Nico Rosberg, back in Monaco in 2014, it looked deliberate, going through the runoff area and claiming pole position. Again, difficult to prove, and he got away with it. We've also looked at Fernando Alonso in Baku this year, bringing out a yellow flag. Again, to me, it looked like he did it deliberately but got away with it. There are also other cases. Charles Leclerc, for example, in Monaco last year, crashed from pole position and denied everyone the chance to beat him. Unfortunately for Leclerc, that day, it meant he couldn't start the race because the damage was too severe for him. But it was another case of a driver bringing out the red flag and, at least in the short term, gaining from it. Verstappen's actions in Brazil left Perez level on points his Ferrari rival Charles Leclerc heading into the final race of the season in Abu Dhabi. And the incident will be looked back on in disgust if Leclerc denies Red Bull their first ever 1-2 in the constructors' standings by a few points.